Do you fish some lakes that have spotted bass in them? Where should you look for spotted bass? Good morning, guys and girls. Catch of the day for today, May 31st. Used up another month of the year. From 1 Corinthians 6:13. The body is not for sexual sin, but for the Lord. The body is not for sexual sin, but for the Lord. Some of you guys and girls are saying, "Oh, Lord, Jimmy, don't touch that one." Well, let's go in this direction. The original head and zare spook is a bait that you need to sort of work yourself into. By this I mean fish it for a few minutes at a time, extending the time each time as you go. It'll take a while, but soon you'll be able to walk the dog with the spook all day long if you have to. We actually strengthen the exact muscles needed to fish this bait. That bait is one that if you pick it up and you haven't used it for a while, you'll start working it, and real quickly your wrists will start getting sore, your arms will get fatigued. You've got certain muscles that you've got to use when you're walking the dog that will tire easily if you're not doing it very much. You know, we lost one of our great friends last month that I never fish a zare spook without thinking about him, Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell from over in Missouri, Forsyth, Missouri, and you know, just absolutely a master at working that topwater bait. Just a master at it. It takes a lot just to make it walk back and forth, but Charlie developed a technique called a half step. In other words, you take a zare spook and you go back and back and back and back. Kind of like looking at your speedometer going, I mean, your fuel gauge going from full to empty to full to empty to full to empty. That's about what you're doing with a zare spook. Charlie developed a technique called half stepping, where you would take that zare spook and instead of going all the way to full and back to empty, you would go to halfway and back, halfway and back. He called that half stepping, and he was half stepping the zare spook. Now what that would allow that to do is if you half stepped it on this side from empty to half, it would cause the spook to work this way. If you half stepped it from full back to half, it would cause the zare spook to work this way. So you can make that zare spook walk to your left or to your right. Now, how's that advantageous to you? Well, one of the ways is that when you chuck that bait out there and you throw it out, let's say, beside a boat dock, and you might end up a foot or so away from a boat dock, you can half step it over to the edge of the boat dock, walk the dog all the way back down the edge, and then back. You can throw it back behind a stump, walk it up right behind the stump, half step it over, work it, and half step it back. So you can fish actually 3/4 of that stump. Now, there's rumors that Charlie Campbell was so good he could make a zare spook walk backwards. Moonwalk a zare spook. Think about that. He couldn't do that. I fished with Charlie Campbell several times. He was amazing with that zare spook, and but he could not make it walk backwards. My wife fished a spook about as well as anybody that I've ever seen, much better than me. She could half step it, she could make it walk left, walk right, but the main thing she could do is she could fish it all day long. We once went down to Venezuela or Brazil, I don't remember which, on a peacock bass fishing trip, and she never made a cast with another bait. Didn't even throw a spinnerbait. Kind of hurt my feelings, but never even threw a spinnerbait. She threw a zare spook 4 consecutive days, all day long, and caught every fish that she caught all week long on that zare spook. So it's a wonderful bait. And by the way, we have a bait developed that I've been trying to get them to build, and they haven't built the mold for it, that is kind of like a zare spook, only better because it's easier to walk. Anybody can walk it. It's a dynamite bait. I've only got really 2 or 3 of them, but but if I can get them to build this bait, it's going to be a killer, I guarantee you. Now, let's see what I wrote about that. We've talked an awful lot about the bait. Okay, here we go. We was talking about the body is not for sexual sin, but for the Lord. That's 1 Corinthians 6:13. We talked about the zare spook. God perfectly created our bodies to be able to do certain things. He also warns about all types of sins that will destroy our bodies that He created. Our bodies that He created, He warned us about certain types of sins that will destroy these bodies. Premarital sex and adultery can lead to sexually transmitted diseases like AIDS. They have devastating effects on our bodies. They even will kill you. God created our bodies to do wonderful things for us and for Him. Let's keep them that way. Let's keep them that way. All right, that's an absolute great devotional right there. It's a great bait to think about. It's a great thing to think about. Premarital sex and adultery can lead to sexually transmitted diseases such as AIDS that have devastating effects on our body. God created our body for Him. Let's keep it that way. Here's our tip for today. Spotted bass. Spotted bass, they call them Alabama spotted bass. Kentucky bass is what a lot of people call them. People in Alabama don't like that, so they started calling them Alabama spotted bass. People in Tennessee didn't like that, so they started calling them Tennessee spotted bass. And here in Oklahoma, we just call them Kentuckies or spots. Mostly they just call them spots. Spotted bass like rock piles and humps. Very, very important. If you live around a lake, with electronics we've got nowadays, it's very, very easy to find rock piles. It's very, very easy to find humps. And, you'll find a lot of spotted bass when you do that. In the summertime, those bass can get really deep, like 30, 40, 50 feet deep on those rock piles down on the bottom and on the humps. Good electronics are a must when you're fishing down like that. Guys and girls, if you're not subscribed to The Catch Today, hit that subscribe button right now. If you're not subscribed to Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube, subscribe to that also. Go out there and have you a great one today. I love you.